Child abuse is one of the most rampant problems we face in the country today. As we struggle to create a solution to the existing conflict, child abuse is clearly at large in the country. It is one of the many concerns in the Philippines and one of the raging crises, and disturbingly, we are not aware of it.
So today we're at ABS-CBN Bantay Bata 163 Center, a voluntary aid organization, talking to Christina Veray, the supervisor of the Child Helpline regarding child abuse. So, Ms. Veray, what is your definition of child abuse?
Child abuse is any form of maltreatment, whether habitual or isang beses that is inflicted to the child. It's maybe in the form of physical, psychological, emotional, neglect, or sexual abuse.
Child abuse is the collective term for the physical, emotional, psychological, or sexual maltreatment or neglect of a child.
So, what do you think is a definition of a child and what are a child's rights?
Our legal definition of a child is anyone who is below 18 years old. And a child has these following rights. A child has the right to be born, to have a family, to live in a peaceful community, to be provided with adequate food, and to have a healthy and active body. Child has the right to education, right to play, leisure, child to be protected from abuse. Child has the right to be defended by the government and the right to express his or her.
A child is any person under the age of 18 who has not attained maturity or is not yet legally of age. All children have the right to be born, to have a family, to live in a peaceful community, to be provided with adequate food, to have a healthy and active body, a right to education, right to play and practice leisure, right to be protected from abuse, right to be defended by the government, and a right to self-expression.
What do you think child abuse affects the development in the country?
Abuse, any form of abuse, affects the child's personality, the child's personhood. Abuse affects child's development. It may traumatize the child, and the child may or may not be rehabilitated from said abuse. It affects the development of the country in the sense that we may have good leaders, we may have good and capable leaders. However, if we have this traumatized citizenry, so it would affect the development of the.
Child abuse affects development by affecting both the abused children and their country. Any form of abuse may affect a child's personality, personhood, development to adulthood, and may ultimately traumatize a child. It can affect a country's development by not having well-educated and capable leaders, as these people, as children, were traumatized.
In this center, how do you deal with abuses with children when you receive calls? How do you deal with them?
Upon the receipt of calls, we first verify it if it is prank or if it is real. We coordinate, we have a good coordination networking with the barangay. So we validate if the report is true or not. Then if it is true, then we have our rescue home visit and legal unit. So they're the one who goes to the area and check the condition of the child. If no one could possibly protect the child, if the child is at risk for further abuse, then they get it, we get the custody of the child, then we place it to our children's village. At the children's village, we have this series of we have these services that deals with the rehabilitation of the child from the abuse. We have this loving and rehabilitative environment for them to be able to cope up, to overcome these effects of abuse.
Bantay Bata 163, a voluntary aid organization, deals with child abuse by first verifying the validity of the calls and coordinate with the local neighborhood governments. If the case is true, they respond immediately, go to the area of the call, and check the condition of the child needs or her protection. In some cases, rehabilitation and relocation are necessary.
That's right. Usually, why do parents resort to abusing their children? Really, what are the reasons?
There are many factors. Since we say that abuse is it's a cycle, it may be that their parents are also abused when they're still young, or they grew up in an abusive environment and they think that abusing the child is the proper way of raising them. There's also the factor of misinformation. We say that corporal punishment is right. There's also the factor of drug addiction, alcoholism. There's also that factor of domestic violence. If the mother is also a battered wife, so how can she protect her child from abuse?
Parents may be inclined to abuse their children because of a number of reasons. One reason may be that the parents themselves were abused as children or grew up in an abusive environment, rationalizing that abusing the child is the proper way of raising them. They may also be a victim of drug addiction or alcoholism.
Bantay Bata.
Ma'am, binubugbog po ako.
Sino nagbugbog sa'yo?
Itay ko po.
Ano ang pangalan mo?
Ronaldo po.
Anong ginagamit nila?
Isang sinturon po.
Bata, saan ka ngayon?
Nagtatago po.
Lagi ka ba binubugbog?
Opo, tuwing gabi po.
Taga saan ka?
Kaloocan po.
Sige bata, pag wala ng iyong itay, tumakas ka sa pinakamalapit na presinto.
Tulungan niyo po ako. Parang awa niyo na.
Other than this establishment, what does the Philippine government try to do with this problem, try to help in this problem? And if so, do they help Bantay Bata in trying to solve child abuse?
The government, our government is the main, they're the main player, our government. We have this Department of Social Welfare and Development Office. So they are our umbrella organization. So on our part, they accredit us, they give us a license, accredit us to rescue these children.
Last question. How can ordinary people like us help reduce child abuse?
Bantay Bata.
They could help all of us, ordinary or not ordinary, or leaders. All of us can help. Anybody could help by like us, by calling 163 or by reporting if they witness an abuse or they know any kind of abuse perpetrated to their neighbors or to their acquaintances. They could report it to the authorities or they could call us.
Thank you.
In the Philippines, we have the DSWD, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, as BB163's umbrella organization. They accredit DD-163 and provide them with a license to help these children. Ordinary people can help reduce child abuse in the Philippines with a number of reasons, especially by calling 163 and abolish these atrocious acts and help bring these children into a better life.
With hiding the sticks and stones.